Carol Fay here, keeping it real estate, putting the EXP in expert. Today I'm answering a question of the top 2 skills my coach has taught me to build my career. It's so funny how the brain works, right? So the other day I see this question and I start typing my answer, right? Like Brian taught me this and this, and Jason taught me this and this, and I feel like they were great skills. And yeah, they were, right? They really were. But here are the 2 biggest things that they taught me. The first one is they taught me how to navigate, manage, and overcome fear. Fear is an amazing emotion, right? Because it can be crippling. And I feel like, for me, I call them the goblins, right? These are the goblins that run around my head and tell me all the reasons that I shouldn't do something. And like our brains legitimately can come up with a bazillion reasons why something could have a negative impact on us, and like worst case scenarios. And it's crazy. Like your brain can like vividly give you the display of it happening. Like, oh my God, it's being chased down the street by an old lady with a broomstick if you're door knocking, or, somebody screaming at you from the other end of the phone and slamming it down if you're cold calling. And it's very interesting if you think about it, that the brain does not come up with the other side of that scale ever. Never, ever have I thought about something I've never done before. And my brain was like, holy shit, Carol, that's a great idea. And here's why. You could take a listing for $1 million. You could call somebody who needs your help. But like, it's just so funny that those things are never what plays out in our minds. And I'm not exactly sure why, as humans, we instinctively go towards whatever the worst case scenario is. But that fear can be crippling, and it does. It literally stops us from taking so many different steps in our lives. My coaches taught me how to overcome that fear, how to look fear in the face, flip the bird, and keep on moving, and not allowing it to cripple me or hinder me or stop me. They've taught me an emotional maturity at the highest of levels that has allowed me to continue to excel. And it's because I don't stop when that fear starts plugging away, right? Right? Because it does, right? Every single time you think of something new, like, oh, all this bad stuff could happen. I'm the one who has to, like, me having, like, right? Like what was it? It was like Gazoo and, like, what was the other dude's name, right? And they're, like, sitting there arguing, like, you could get chased down the street by somebody with a broomstick, And I'm over here, like, or I could get a listing, right? It's not my brain giving me that. It's me, like, so we're, like, the internal fight, right? Because goblins are at war now. So that's what they taught me. That was the first most valuable skill that they taught me. And if you listen to them both, they both have that skill set that they're trying to teach their students. And so as I think about it, this is one of my top 2 skills that they taught me. The second skill that they taught me is action, massive action, right? So again, right, human instinct. If you think of something that you want to do, first you got to go through all the goblins, right? And you're like, go away, goblins. And then, as humans, we want to think about it, right? We want to think about all the different things that we should do and the various ways that it can be done. And, now we want to take, whatever that is, right? And we want to map out what we think it would look like and how it could be perfect. And, man, we could waste weeks doing that, right? Weeks gone by, and you still haven't accomplished anything. So what they both taught me is act now, question later. Instead of question now, act later. They flipped it. And so I'll tell you a quick one, right? So it was funny because we're rolling into COVID and things are like getting different, and you're not out interacting. And so Jason says, Carol, he starts talking to me about going live on Facebook, and I'm in Brian's video challenge, and I'm like, I'm hating video, right? Let me tell you, at that point, I was like, I hated the sound of my voice. I hated the way that I looked. My hair was never right. My makeup was always wrong. The background, all the stuff, all the goblins were in full force. But I'm in this lecture, and Jason says, you need to go live on Facebook. You need to start interviewing other businesses and find out how they're handling COVID and help inform people, right? Because this is a scary time and they're going to be looking for information. And so what information can you provide? So So I was like, oh, okay. You know, I went right on Facebook at the time and I set up an event and I'm going live and I'm doing all this stuff. I had no idea how to do any of it, right? None of it. I mean, zero. I didn't have Zoom. I didn't know how to go live. It was a mess. So now I've got everything ready to go. And I'm like, oh, shit, how do I do it? So now I run back to Jason and I was like, listen, how do I do it? So he tells me go and you get this level of Zoom and you can go live on Facebook through Zoom, and like kind of do like a conference call. And I'm like, okay. So now I am literally on Zoom in his Facebook group going live, practicing how to do this. Because I have no idea how it's done. And like playing with settings and looking at lighting and trying to figure out sound, like all this craziness. And it was so funny because, Jason was laughing at me, right? Because he did it. I'll never forget him looking at me and like, Carol, I commend you because you did it. And I'm like, I figured it out, but he told me, and not a lot of people will do that. And so that is the second most valuable skill that my coaches taught me when it comes to my career, is to act now, question later. And I want to tell you that this is amazing. I feel like as realtors, especially new realtors, right, we have all these questions. And I like to kind of say puzzle pieces, right? So you've got all these puzzle pieces floating around your head and you're asking all these questions, but it never really comes together. The full picture does not come together until you're in the thick of a transaction, until you're working with a client and you're walking down that road and you're doing it. So it's right. You do have to act first and question later, because any question you have in your mind right now is going to get answered the minute you're in the thick of it. And so they're kind of premature. So they really did teach me that until you have had action, you have no questions. And so, yeah, those are the two biggest skills that my coaches taught me. They taught me how to navigate and work through, around, and with fear and not allow it to cripple me. And they taught me to take action first and question later. And I think that those lessons are definitely going with me for the rest of my career. They have helped me build some wonderful habits off of these that have, like I said, they just allow me to continue to excel. And I'm looking forward to what these wonderful skills that I now have and possess are going to continue to help me thrive doing for the rest of my life. I hope that this helps. My name's Carol Fay. I am the Northeastern Team Lead for Team BC. If you have any referrals from me or anybody on my team, go ahead and contact me. If you are looking for any information on EXP and how their business model works and if it might make sense for you, go ahead and you can set an appointment with me on my calendar. That link is in below so that we can kind of just go over it. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And also, if you're looking to order my cold call organizer, that link is down below as well, and a few other links. Go ahead and check it out. Don't forget to hit that wrong side again. Go hit that subscribe button, and down below there's a little bell. If you hit the bell, you'll get notifications. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.